you have heard Auntie Janot's music? Okay, that's better. Okay. So, you know, Auntie Janot's roots are in Laie. No, actually, she was born over here in Eustis Stables, right?
Yes.
Eustis Stables. Yeah, in Kaka'ako. And that's where Gabby was raised. That's where a lot of entertainers were raised, a lot of artists. Little Joe Kekaoha. I don't know, some of you might recognize these names, I hope. Jimmy Kaupuiki. I'm sorry, who? Brickwood. Yeah, Brickwood's family, the Galataria family. Yeah, from Kaka'ako. Many entertainers, musicians that we have known over the years were from Kaka'ako. Anyway, Auntie Janot is there. So, Gary, why don't you share something about that?
My grandma's, or her mother, had a brother that was living out in Laie, and the brother had passed on. So then, Grandma had taken all the children all the way out to Laie and lived out at Uncle's house, Uncle Kaeo Kulani Davis. And out in Laie, every weekend, Mom had shared, she said, you know, every weekend there was music going on at all the streets in Laie, and there was like corners that you would have families just playing and entertaining and playing music. Being also a member of the Mormon Church, which Mom had joined, she had the opportunity of singing in the church choir. And I think that was, she had shared, and she shared this many times, that this is where she really got her start in singing. And there was a lady by the name of Rahab Kekaoha. Lady Rahab Kekaoha had sung soprano, and she had always wanted to sing like Rahab Kekaoha, and she wanted to do that. And then, so as a young girl, she was growing up and singing and just playing music, and you know, but she was number 9 of 11 children. Okay, so she had all older brothers and older sisters. She was one of the younger ones, and her sister, Auntie Esther, which is one of the eldest in the family, would always take my mom to events, and my mom would always be singing at these events because she knew that they called my mother's middle name is Lei, or Leilani, so they always called her Lei. And so her sisters, her older sisters, would always take her and she would enter in these singing music events. And as Mom had grew older, she would listen to the radio. If you knew back then, the radio stations where Uncle John K. Almeida had his radio show, and she would always come home. She said she would always come home from school and just to listen to the radio music during the lunch hour. Mom graduated from school at 8th grade and out in Laie. Back then in the plantation towns, that's all you went up to was 8th grade. Unless you lived in town, then you had high schools. But because it was so far and we did not have the transportation that we have today, Mom's education went only up to 8th grade out in Laie. And then from there, at a later age, and she shared this, and she said, you know, I would always have to stay home. And my brothers worked at the plantation in Kahuku, and thus she had to stay home and iron their pants and everything, and, you know, take care of the house. So, but that's a little history about my mom's musical genealogy. And of course, you know the rest as she came into Honolulu, and Uncle John K. Almeida had taken a hold of her and basically taught her to sing Hawaiian music. Her initial start in music was not Hawaiian, it was pop music. And she shared, you know, even my daughters, I guess, they like to sing pop music. But she sang pop music for George Ho'okano's band. The dance bands used to be for military, for high schools, for graduations, or for any events. And she would sing with George Ho'okano's dance bands prior to singing Hawaiian music. Uncle John Almeida was the person that helped her to develop her Hawaiian music and singing? Thank you for that question.
All right. First off, I think it's ironic that we're spending so much time talking about my grandmother, Adija Noakiabe, and I'm sitting up here with all men. The one Hawaiian music female singer is our focus. But I really appreciate that we are spending so much time talking with her. I just had a chance to go on a very, very special trip to Japan, and I guess it never occurred to me how special it was until I was actually there. So my tutu, I found out, was the first Hawaiian musician. That group of people were the first Hawaiian musicians to go into Japan and play music. That was the very first Hawaiian music gig was in Iwaki City in Fukushima. And they were there to open a Hawaiian resort. Back then it was called the Joban Hawaiian Resort in 1966. I had a chance to be there and to see the people who first brought her up. The lady, the woman who brought us there is named Kaleinani Hayakawa, and she was a ballet dancer, but very interested in Hawaiian music and wanted to find a way to put the two together. Anyhow, it was a wonderful trip, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to be there and to witness these things, especially when we went down to the beach to pay tribute to those whose lives were lost in the most recent tsunami that they had in 2011. It was very special for us. But coming back onto this course is, the music that comes out of me now, Uncle used the term through osmosis. And I used to try that with my science homework, put my textbook under my pillow, and it never worked. But I guess I can testify that it does work to an extent. I lived across the room from my tutu, who was always practicing her music every day. And so with that, I'll sing a song for you, but I would like for you all to sing it with me. Is that okay? All right, it's easy. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the way that Tutu taught me to sing like her, which, by the way, has its own history to it. They say it started with Paniolo men who used to hear the sound of the guitar, something like that. Just heard the slacky guitar, the melodies, trying to imitate the sounds, imitate the sounds that they heard. And it was something like women. Eventually it turned into men who were trying to sing like women, right? And so that's why a lot of it is done in the falsetto range. And then women liked it and caught on to it. So then you had women who were trying to sing like men who were trying to sing like women. So it's very special and unique, and I think you all should learn how to do it. So we're going to try it, okay? Now, are all of you familiar with Tarzan? Yes. Okay, so let's all give our best Tarzan. Ready? Go. This is how I learned, and I'm not kidding you. So that's how she taught me. She says, you know who Tarzan is? You just need to like him. Okay? You need to be able to feel that break in your throat. So let's give it another try. Ready? Begin. Okay. It's okay. Some of you are just going, oh, let it go. Let it go. Have you seen Frozen? Just let it go. Okay, ready? Wonderful. Okay. So can you guess what song we're leading up to? Thank you, Auntie. Okay. Ehuli Mako, for those of you who didn't hear it in the back. We all know the melody, so I'm not going to do that repeat after me deal. You just sing along, okay?
haiku